Hey, good morning.
I'm already laughing. You know why?
No?
We have all of our good mornings, and I'll show them in a minute. At 10:04, Melanie's like, I bet they're chatting.
Yep. That was true.
Yeah, I do have other platforms, but
we don't talk every day. We only talk on Wednesdays.
Yeah, lost track of time again.
We did.
We're on time for us.
Right. We're here.
Okay, back to the good morning. It is the Woo Woo Wednesday, all of our Woo Woo Wednesdays and all of our new friends, because we are on TikTok this morning. So if you have questions about the paranormal, the TV show The Ghost Whisperer, negative energy, feel free to ask them in the comments. I can't show the TikTok ones on the main screen because you're on a separate device, but I'll read them out and they'll get answered. There's going to be a whole lot of woo-woo today between this podcast recording. Myself, Sandy, and Brooke will be live later this evening. Doing
busy day. Okay.
Because it's my day off.
Right. What was the podcast this morning?
This morning was the Easter lilies.
Oh, okay.
And there were already people who had listened to it. And full moon, and you know what? That full moon, man,
it's a good one.
I was like, why can't I sleep? And I'm like, oh, never mind.
That's exactly right.
Last night, probably tonight, and the day after, I'm going to be walking around like a zombie.
That's right.
So first question, is Marianne wearing gloves, using a pencil to type, or Ted typing for her? I never see her name in chat.
That's because I don't even know how to do that. I don't even look at those.
So earlier,
I have to use it. I'll use my Playtex Living Gloves or my pencil with an eraser to get it. But this is really slow.
Well, the reason why she's saying that, so earlier, before we ever went live, Brooke had said, Woo Woo Wednesday. And I responded in the streaming software, like, so much woo woo today. When I respond through the streaming software, it puts that comment everywhere we're streaming. So it'll say, Marianne Winkowski said, so much woo woo today.
Yeah, no. Might be thinking it, but never said it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So during the lives, if you see Marianne's profile talking, that's me typing in response to something.
And I think some people think when Ted answers stuff that it's me also. No. He'll say, what do you want me to tell these people? Okay, tell them this. So, but no. Right. Yeah.
So good morning to all of our friends. Did you get a new haircut, Marianne?
No. Oh, well, yeah, I got it cut a couple Fridays ago, Thursdays ago for a Friday that I never made. So
we do have other platforms. Yeah. So we've got friends all over the place, and we're currently, what is woo woo? So woo woo is kind of like that fun little generic term of anything like under the metaphysical umbrella. So on our Wednesday morning chats with Marianne, if you're unfamiliar, the TV show The Ghost Whisperer was based off of her, and she was the consultant. So Wednesday mornings, we chat all things paranormal, ghostly, negative energy removal, portals, how any of that works, the difference between earthbounds and those that have crossed over. So if you have questions about any of those type of topics, feel free to ask. Yes, it was me. I'm controlling all the boards during these.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm about sitting on my hands, so I don't come anywhere close to this business. So
yeah, Eddie's like been up since 2 a.m. I woke up about 3:30 and did not fall back to sleep for about an hour until after like 5:30. Yeah. So, yeah.
And it's a good thing we're doing this morning, because I don't think. Boy, that last windstorm, so many trees went down. We were without electric, and we're supposed to have a really bad one this afternoon again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Brooke's like happy to be in the minion. Brooke helps keep track of the TikTok side of this for me while we do these. So, what is the TikTok title? It is Goddess Elite LLC. Make sure it's spelled correctly. We have fake profiles that keep popping up trying to scam people out of money for readings. So always ignore misspellings and unneeded underscores, pronunciations, punctuations. Those are all fake accounts. So another question we have, because Marianne can also see fairies, it says, now that spring is underway, how do we know when fairies are around other than seeing them?
Watch if you have not so much dogs, but especially cats. If you've got cats in the house, they'll find them pretty quick. And that's one of the things that if you have outdoor cats that they look for in the yards. So, I mean, yeah, but no, I'm sure they're already in this area. I mean, look all the daffodils that are blooming and everything. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Goddess Elite LLC. Brooke, if you're able, can you share a link in the comments and I'll share it out? Good morning, Abby and Mike and Judy from Solon. So the podcast went out this morning having to do with some Easter lilies and Easter things.
yeah, I mean, it was just something that happened this time of the year years ago.
Mhm.
And it was the only Easter thing that popped in my head. So that's what I did.
Let's see. We have a little comment here. Says it's just moving, but seeing things out of the corner of their eye moving down the hallway, but it was moving up towards them. Should they be concerned? What do they need to do in instances where instead of just ducking away, it's like coming at
Well,
them?
it's TV and the movies. They're not going to walk through you or anything like that. That does not even happen. My guess is they would have got so far and stopped. But don't forget, that doesn't necessarily have to be an earthbound spirit. That could be how you are seeing ones that have crossed over. Again, just because I can't see them doesn't mean you can't see them.
Sandy says, what is involved in contacting Mary Ann to attend a funeral?
Call and leave a message. Tell me when the funeral is. And if I am in town, and now that the weather's nice, I'm starting to travel again. But if the weather's nice and I am in town, I will call you back within 24 hours. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, I couldn't help you.
And she says she also saw a little boy about 3 or 4, and he would like tap on the back or pull on the back of the pant leg, part of the comment cut off. Do you find that like with little kids, they tend to be more like they'll tug on the clothing, try to get your attention?
Well, and that's what your kids did when if they were standing next to and they wanted you, they tug on your shirt or your sleeve, or because if they said mom, you'd go shh. So if they tugged you, they got your attention.
Right.
And yeah. And if little kid ghosts, earthbound ghosts, like men, they're, like their dads, or they were more mommy boys or girls, then that's who they're going to hang out with. I will tell you this, it's very unusual to have earthbound kid ghosts in a house unless you have live children. Because kids like kids, whether they're alive or dead. So it would be, interesting to know. But if you think there's a problem, smudge. Have a priest come in, an ordained priest or minister come in and bless the house. See if it makes a difference.
Jane says, I love this show. I've been listening to Marianne since 2004 when she first was on George Norrie. Read all her books, gone through the Ghost Whisperers, still have quinceads from way back then.
I remember her name. Yeah, I remember her. There's some people that just stick in your mind for some reason, and Jane was one of those people that I absolutely remember.
Margie, hey Margie, says, did you get my neighbor straightened out regarding day and time to come clear her house?
Yep, I was there yesterday, all taken care of. Not a problem. It was definitely mass confusion, but we got it straightened out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Brooke. Here is for anybody else that's looking for it on TikTok. There's how you find us. Jackie says the podcast this morning was good. Thank you, thank you. So rude. Got to call that interrupted the live.
Shame on them. Don't they know you're busy on Wednesday mornings?
That's right. On TikTok, what you got us says, I have a quinseed bush in the backyard. Now, aren't the bushes good for just protecting like that general area of the yard and entranceway, maybe?
I think that that's something that came with people years ago when they came from Europe or other countries, because everybody's house in old neighborhoods, say in the Cleveland area, I noticed it in Chicago, noticed it in Wisconsin, noticed it at a lot of places where there's older neighborhoods, like built in the early 20s, 30s. They usually have two things planted in their yard, a quinseed bush and lemon verbena. And if you think about it, did they bring that remedy over with them from the old country? Did they, hide a couple quince seeds in their pockets so they could plant a bush? Because it's a bush, not a tree here. The trouble is they are not the quince seeds that I get from Italy, which means they're not energized. But, people use quince seeds to make jams and jellies. I think that's about the only thing you can do with them because they're so bitter.
Well, she said the original owners of the house were from Italy.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that makes all the sense in the world then.
Yeah, I just because of having trained in Stregoria and everything, like I had rue at my old house. And when I have finally decided where I might permanently plant myself, at least part-time, I plan on going in and either taking that bush back or a cutting,
right.
Like gave Nikki, thanks, Nanette, a fair warning. And I'm like, this is, yeah.
The other thing that everybody has planted around, and you may be even more aware of that, those little chicks and hens, those are always planted around the front doors and the back doors. Because
used in the solution to keep the fairy folk out. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So there are some things that they don't like.
Of course, Brooke's like, how rude and how dare work invade your woo-woo time. Barbara says, I'm about finished with the book, The Ghost Chronicles. The main lady in the book, Maureen, can channel spirits. Is this something you stay away from?
Oh, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. There's no way some spirit's going to get me and start channeling through me. No.
Well, and usually the channeling are those that have crossed over. Ideally, it gets very, very risky when you're allowing earthbounds to start.
Do you remember Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze, Ghosts? She channeled the dead guy into her and it wouldn't come out. And there was a lady, I remember her first name, I won't say it. She lived in Navarre, Ohio, which is, I don't know if that's down around Canton, somewhere down in that area. I'm not sure where Navarre is. And she was I don't believe she's still alive, but she was a very, very good reader. And she had a lot of clientele. Well, she started channeling. And she actually got somebody stuck. Couldn't get him out. So no, if you're not protected, you're asking for trouble.
Sorry.
Who are you looking for?
A bunch of ruckus going on outside, and I'm like,
oh, okay.
Shush, I'm working. Let's see. Renee says, you got rid of a ghost in my sister's house when we visited you, but now her granddaughter is afraid of a scary person that she sees there. Must be an earthbound spirit, or could it be wee folk?
Renee, she's going to have to call and leave a message. I don't know. Didn't we give your sister seeds, though, to put up on her house? So if the seeds are where they're supposed to be, it wouldn't be an earthbound one. And Renee, keep an eye on your mail tomorrow or tomorrow, I think. The Valentines are on their way.
Jules says the podcast was great. It must be frustrating if you know that he got away with what was basically murder and nothing you can do about it. Are many churches haunted by earthbounds?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. And it's religious organizations. It's not one that has got more than the other. It's equal opportunity. They go to every church equally. So, and some of them come with a parishioner that they, go with, or, oh, nice, Canada. Or, but yeah, no, it's again, any place where there's a lot of people.
Karen, hey, Karen says, I yell at people who interrupt my 10 a.m. movie time.
You'll have to do what I did, what Ted does. He runs around and takes all my phones off the hook.
I know, because I was trying to call and I'm like, are they?
Yeah, no. He takes the phones off the hook because nothing is worse than hearing the phone ring.
Which he got us on TikTok. It's like I can still feel the owner in the house here because he passed in the house, but she feels like it's still a nice spirit.
And he may have gone to the light and is just visiting and snooping around to see what you're doing. That's a possibility. Mm-hmm. Seriously, without a phone call, I really couldn't tell if it's earthbound or not.
Brooke says she yells at them too. Are fairies afraid of cats?
Cats are an enemy of theirs. They really are. But I've noticed that fairies sort of hang out in a group. It's never just a fairy. There's 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if, and I'm going to assume that they watch out for each other. So I would think that, yeah, Australia. Wow.
Right? We're slowly taking over.
I
know. Julie says she started 2 quinces last year.
Well, like I said, they're not that hard to grow, especially in this area. Let's put it this way: wherever apple or pear trees can grow comfortably, that's where you can put a quince bush to grow. But keep this in mind: it takes 7 to 8 years before it bears fruit. So you have to be really patient.
Right. She's like, how dare I get scheduled to work at 10 on a Wednesday? Right. Don't they know better? Let's see. Nanette, one of my practitioners, says, I have all the signs and messages I get from my dad who passed, but he comes on his time, not when I necessarily ask.
Think about it. Do you think their personalities are going to change just because they're dead? No. And I'm guessing that he did things on his own time when he was alive. So don't expect anything better.
Vicky says, wonder if he took a quince seed out of a dream bag, soaked it in water, and then planted it, if it would grow into a protector bush.
I cannot tell you how many people have tried that. No, it doesn't work. They literally take the quince seeds, open them up, and have gobs of seeds. And that's what they do the energy work from. And then they put them in a container and ship them off to me.
Right. And here's a good question, right? Why would that guy haunt the church and not the murderer?
That's a very good question, especially since he bought his business. And I didn't ask him that, but how do I know he didn't?
I mean, you weren't in the church 24 hours, 7 days a week. So,
and there's no reason. I mean, masses daily, once a day, except on weekends. Some churches have 2, 3, or 4 services. So for sure, those would be times where he would be in the church because of the energy. But when the old ladies leave that watered all the lilies and didn't have anything to do for a funeral down in the basement, there's nobody there. So where did he go? Did he go to wherever the priest was? Did he go by the guy that murdered him? Who knows? I don't know.
Gina says, I'm a very energy sensitive person. And the other day at work, I put my hands over the head of a man in a casket and felt intense waves of heat coming off of him. What do you think that could have been? What could have caused that?
Interesting. I have no idea. I
You
don't know what
stumped me.
that. Yeah, I really don't know what would cause that. I mean, the body is dead, so there should be no energy coming from the body. There'd be no earthbound spirit that would crawl in his body because what good would it do? I can eliminate all kinds of things, but I cannot give you an answer what it is. Now, I guess if I'm really pushing it, did the undertaker or whoever prepared the body have negative energy on them where it rubbed off on the person? Or did the person that came in to do the makeup or hair have negative energy on them where you're still picking up on some of that? Other than that, I have no idea.
Mr. Miyagi says we had a wall where you told us to put the quince. We did, and now the light on the dresser turns on and off all day long. What's up with that?
First of all, is the lamp okay? I mean, is there something wrong with it? Or is there a short in it or a short in that plug? If the seeds are up where they're supposed to be and you're having no other symptoms in the house except that, there are a lot of spirits that cross over that really mess with lamps, especially the touch ones. They can turn those off and on in a heartbeat. And it's just letting you know somebody's there, that you know this would be somebody from the light. Or check your seeds. You've got your seeds up everywhere. If the seeds aren't cracked or popped, then that is somebody that is from the light. So you could answer your own question.
This next one could be get on a soapbox moment. How do you know the ghost isn't a demon pretending to be a ghost? Some exorcists claim that most are really demons deceiving people.
Don't believe it. Not when I can talk to them and get their information and where are they buried and who are their family. And no, I'm going to call that a conspiracy theory. No, if you can't do it, let's make up something about it.
Hey, Linda, thank you for
Yeah.
the magazine. I've been waiting a couple of weeks. I'm like, when is Linda coming on?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. And that's the first one, Linda, in the fiction series.
Let's see. Does having one or more cats mean you're less likely to have trouble with the fae folk?
No, not at all. Unfortunately, even if you're a cat lady, you could have them in the house. So
I'm having a hard time now not thinking in my mind of a certain name that you use. Sister Maureen asked, what about plane crashes in the ocean? I was wondering about those spirits of the Malaysian jet that went down and no one found them. Does their light still stay with them, or what happens?
Well, as soon as they died, however they died, their spirit would have left their body and the spirit would have gone to people they knew, their relatives. So they wouldn't be under the ocean. And at some point, I think these people are legally declared dead. And so at that point, the family could either choose to have a memorial service and that spirit could wait till then, or the spirit could say, I'm so over this, I'm going into the light. And so they leave. So it's pretty much whatever they want to do.
Okay. And I'm looking behind me in
I see
my
that.
many books because Studio Artist says a lot of people who experience sleep paralysis sense a presence in the room. Is that just your mind playing tricks, or does sleep paralysis make you more aware of things around you? And I was looking for The Walk in the Shadows by that local author. I'm like, where is my copy?
Yeah, it's got to be around. Opinion about that, and read the book. The book has some good information, but And again, no two people butter toast the same way. So what works for one person isn't always going to work for somebody else. So yeah,
It's probably in another room. I have more books in another room.
right.
He did a pretty good job trying to walk both sides of the fence
Yeah,
of
he did.
paranormal and going over science, neurology with it. And I think he did a pretty good job in this book.
Right. And
Um,
I think some things you have to go just on faith.
mhm.
There's no other, I mean, most people are religious because they have faith.
And I know on the Goddess Elite YouTube channel, and Marianne, I'm not sure if it's still up on yours, but that whole book discussion where he joined us for the book club is still live on ours. So you can
I
go
don't
back and
know.
watch
Yeah,
that.
I have to see if my webmaster has it on or not. I don't know.
Um, so you can always go back and watch that. Um, but his name is Mike Ricksecker, and the book was called A Walk in the Shadows. Very interesting discussion we had with him. I mean, he came more prepared than I expected. He had like slideshows, projectors,
I
like
was embarrassed that he had all this stuff, and I'm thinking, I better go sit in the, I mean, I figured he was just going to sit there and talk to us. I didn't know he was
right,
bringing all that stuff.
right.
It's like, whoa,
This man brought a presentation.
that's my gosh, he's way better than me when it comes to that.
He got an A on his book report.
That's right, he certainly did.
Amy was wondering if you know anything at all that can help with getting rid of aliens out of the house. Yep. Stump thing. That's twice now today.
How do you even know that you have aliens in your house? They don't live in people's houses. I no, first I would have to question if you actually had aliens in the house. If you called and left a message, I would be able to hear a very distinctive noise that if aliens are in or have ever been in your house, that I can tell you, but I don't think aliens are hanging out in your house. I really don't.
Maybe not 24/7.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, Jim says, is there a protocol to dispel an incubus or a succubus?
It's a lot more hard. It's harder work to get rid of them than it is a regular earthbound spirit because those two specific ghosts have real attitude.
Danielle says or asks, did you help crossover spirits at the Metro Hospital burn unit? I remember my cousin telling me that she was a nurse in that unit for 20 years.
Sure did. And it was probably 20 or 20 years longer than that I was there. The NIC unit, maternity ward, surgical rooms, the burn unit, peds, anything that they could sneak me into clear, they did.
Hey, Amy. Do earthbounds mess with people who fear the woo-woo more than people like Karen, who are curious and want to know more?
Yeah. If somebody gets off the phone with me and I had told them there's a ghost in the house, and I don't know how many times over these 50 odd years that I have said, do not talk to them. All you do is give them more energy. Do not do that. So what do? They hang up with me and they go, I know you're here. You better leave. You really think that's working? All you're doing is giving them more energy. Don't do it.
They're telling you to hold their beer while they wait for Marianne to show up.
Or you have options. Give people options. I don't have to come out. There are things you can do.
Right. But everybody wants to see you, Marianne. Everybody wants the Marianne guarantee that.
Yeah, when you walk in and you see these big eyeballs, or they took the kids over to the neighbor's house so that I don't cook them and make, some kind of a stew out of them. I don't think so.
Your price is your eldest child.
Yeah, right. Just have the kid wait in the car. Coming home with me. So
Karen wants to know what a wee person is.
Well, they're fairies and sprites and trolls and everything that you think didn't exist exists, and they're lumped into that.
Brooke was like, I have 3 cats that stay inside. The Fae folk stay outside. They do not like each other, but respect the space. The cats, not so much on the respect, but because they're stuck inside.
And that's why. And that's why my cats are inside too, because it's just not going to happen.
Linda, it's like, I have seen every episode and heard every podcast except today. She's still got to catch up with today. It's like, great. We'll be reading every book in the series as well.
Well, there's only one more in that fiction series. I've got 3 or 4 books to add to that series, except the editor that bought those books left, and the new editor thinks they suck, and she won't publish anymore. So that's
Karen's like, I always question my kids being aliens.
may not be that far off. You don't know how many there are walking around that are half and half. I mean, you have no idea.
Let's see, Jackie. It's been 6 months since my ex-husband passed. Had a dream of him the other day. My son said all of the weird stuff at his house has stopped.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Let's see. Giuseppe's like, aliens that live in your house, aren't they called Alf?
Or Mork.
Oh, right. Nanu.
Right.
Let's see.
Did the one from, oh gosh, who was the alien that ate the M&Ms with Drew Barrymore when she was a little girl? Did that alien even have a name?
Was that E.T.?
Oh yeah, maybe it was. E.T.
Yeah.
Go Home. Yeah, E.T. Okay, so we know 3.
Well, he lives in the closet.
Yeah, but we know 3 movie TV aliens: Mork and E.T. and who was the other one?
Mork and Mindy, Alpha, and then now we know dude from the sci-fi.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the doc.
My favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see him on other things be completely normal.
I've never seen him in anything else.
Did you watch the movie A Knight's Tale?
No.
Oh, he's in that. There was something else he popped up in, and I'm like, that is weird. Like, I'm not used to him pulling off that weird little character so well.
Right.
Let's see. Amy says, I adopted a pure black cat that was born on 10/30/19. Would she draw in more wheeze?
No, absolutely not. The little folk don't come looking for trouble. So no, they're not going to. And they're now. If you had dogs and you had leprechauns, yeah, they could be very mean to your animals, but not the tiny little sprites in that. No.
Kate asks, does smudging prevent crossed over spirits from visiting?
No, absolutely not. Anybody from the light can come in. The seeds don't stop them. The seeds only stop earthbound ones. So it doesn't stop anybody at all. Spirit guides, moms, dads, your guardian angel, nobody. Doesn't stop them at all.
JG says, I'm a nurse and I think someone came home with me. Our lights flicker when I am home and don't when I leave. What can I do?
Well, if you're in a city hospital, especially in an emergency room, or you work in the critical care unit or the heart unit where people have a tendency to die a little more frequently, you could very easily bring something home with you. So my suggestion to anybody that works in the medical field, I don't care if you're a secretary in a doctor's office, you really should have a quinseed on you just to make sure somebody doesn't follow you home.
Margie says she's starstruck when she gets to see you.
Oh, jeez. Cracks me
If
up.
you're local in the Cleveland area, you can come see Marianne at Goddessili on April 15th.
And she's coming. I already know she's coming. She said so. It'll be good to see her.
Vicky says, still haven't located my large horn coral, but do hope to loan it to you someday to experiment with it. Hopefully no aliens will slip in while it's gone, assuming it's working.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did we already do, does smudging affect earthbound spirits? It doesn't.
It does not at all. We answered that question. Yeah.
How many books did you write, Marianne?
7.
There you go, Melanie. You got to get 7 books.
2 of them are electronic. 5 are published.
So does talking about the spirits with someone else give them the same type of energy?
Just talking about them to some, not unless you're standing right there. If you talk about them when they're not around, they don't hear it and it's fine. But, if a neighbor comes and visits and said, oh my God, you should know who's in my house, I can assure you that ghost will be standing there listening.
Oh, good question, Brooke. Do half aliens emit the same high-pitched sound?
I don't think so. Because I'm convinced I know someone that is half and half, and I have never heard that high-pitched noise around that person. So I don't think so.
And then I have to wonder too, like, is it just in genetics? Is it because the human half was more dominant, and like would another half and half maybe have it if the more alien side?
Who knows? I mean, but you got to figure, and I'm sorry, but they've got to be a whole lot smarter than we are to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not that bright, believe me.
Despite the human ego, right?
Yeah, you can think whatever you want, but no, I would like to know where we fall on that scale.
I probably wouldn't. It would be kind of depressing.
Yeah, the History Station had something on Ted was watching, and it's something like there's over 20 billion planets out in the universe, and how stupid we all are to think that this is the only planet that has life.
Oh, right.
I mean, come on.
Mighty Raven says, Marianne helped me with my alien issue last fall. Would it be beneficial to schedule another Zoom to make sure that the noise is gone? Thank you, Mighty.
No, if the house feels fine and there's nothing, I mean, no, just assume that it's fine. If you have problems, then you can do it. But I mean, you can do whatever you want. We can check, but I wouldn't think so.
Studio Artist says there's a conspiracy that AI can be harnessed by spirits to communicate with people. I guess like a Ouija board. Do you think it's possible?
There are people that communicate through computers, and when typewriters were the thing, manual or electric, automatic writing, the pendulum. There are ways, absolutely, that they can affect you.
Amy, she's like, I always told my dad he was an alien. He was bald, and that's where they translate together.
Translate together. Yeah, well, the Greys are bald, so who knows?
Right. Oh, Poodle Pan says the dude was also in Firefly, the guy from Resident Alien.
Oh, she would know. Okay. Didn't see that either.
Debbie. Hey, Debbie says, I have 2 Alf stuffed animals on my desk as I was weirdly obsessed with that show as a kid. Do not judge me. No, I watched it.
Absolutely not. I've got Casper the Friendly Ghost books from when I was a kid on my bookshelf. So,
do you see all the Nightmare Before Christmas? And that's just a little bit.
I do. I've been looking at different things there. It's like, you've got quite a collection there, lady.
There's more. There's other bookcases. There's a top, the Hoodoo Hutch, and I've kind of put down the rule for, friends and family who know. I'm like,
enough.
Right. I'm running out of flat places to put it.
Well, here's the thing.
Thank you, Brooke. I love it. See, my sassy fan.
Right. I collected frogs for years. And when people start realizing that I collected frogs, they started buying me frogs. Mm-hmm. And some people don't know the difference between a frog and a toad, but that's beside the point. And when I finally got rid of the frogs, there were over 800 of them.
Oh, wow.
And I was so shocked because when I put it in the paper that at the garage sale there were going to be 800 frogs, I can't believe how many people collect frogs
Well, some
because
of them were cute.
they showed up. I mean, it was like, wow.
Nanette's like, my grandma just turned 101. Go, grandma. She has been seeing fairies for the last year. She wants to pass and keeps asking, why is she still here?
So
It's like
many old people ask that question. They're so done and they just really, really want to go. It's great that they live that long. And you think about it, do you want to live that long? Sure, only if I feel good and don't lose my mind. And if I see ghosts, I'm probably halfway there already. So
I can't. I loved Mork and Mindy too. Well, I loved Robin Williams.
yeah,
And I'm so glad I was able to snag his autograph at my Borders in Tower City when he was coming through for the heart procedure at Cleveland Clinic.
yeah.
Um,
I
and
keep thinking because of how he died, I certainly hope he got to cross over.
yeah, he's one of my favorite peoples. And the same with Betty White.
Right.
Just those are good peoples. Melanie says you need to self-publish the rest of the books.
Well, the 7 that I mentioned are all published books. There's 2 that are definitely on electronic things, and they just don't get the traffic. Self-published books like that just don't get the traffic. So I don't know. I'll think about it.
City said she'd be starstruck too.
Oh,
Now, City, aren't you like hopefully coming for a visit through the US here soon? I think she said
I
that.
thought she said she was.
Yeah. It's Karen. She's like, what makes leprechauns attract to certain people? My last name is 100% Irish. Am I in trouble?
There are some leprechauns that stay with certain families. They've been with them through greats and greats and grandmas, and it's the same leprechauns. I don't know if they're family leprechauns. I don't know. I've never had a conversation with a leprechaun, so I don't know. Like I said, they probably don't like me anyway because every time I go to the grocery store and see a box of Lucky Charms, I want to throw them on the floor and jump on them.
Mm. Now, City wants to know if there are any Easter recipes in your cookbook.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I believe there are some kind of cookies, I think.
Where is my copy of your cookbook? I
Yeah,
need to organize my books.
copy of my cookbook.
I just randomly shove. I'm like, I'm done with it, and I shove it.
Here it is.
So bad, so bad.
I will check real fast. Well, there's lamb, and a lot of people eat lamb. No, I don't think specifically. Yeah, there's some bars and cookies. Yeah, there's stuff in here that people would eat for things for
Easter.
Easter. Absolutely. There's even I forgot about that. There's even a recipe in here for quince honey jam. Go figure.
Hey, so everybody growing the bushes with the
You
quince.
could do something with that. That's right. Just remember, it's mostly sugar you're eating when you make that.
Shar says, is it only our loved ones that come to you in a dream, or can friends also come in your dreams?
No, anybody can come in a dream, but 9 times out of 10, the ones that are going to talk to you and want to talk to you are relatives and friends. Absolutely.
Well, aren't your friends loved ones too?
They should be if they're friends.
I mean, depending how it is.
Well, I mean, I suppose there's different levels, but yeah.
I saw the question in here. Now I can't find it, but it was like, do you think aliens just sit around and laugh at us, mock us for like what we as a human race are doing?
I would imagine that they get some good laughs on certain days because, again, I'm sorry, I just don't think we're the brightest people compared to them. And, sometimes you can really laugh at silly things that people do.
Let's see. Hey, welcome back, Sandy. Darn that work that keeps getting in your way on Woo Woo Wednesday. Like, I'm on my lunch break. Quit bothering me. Let's see. Catch up here. Yeah, she's like 2 interruptions in a row. Like, tell them we will not stand for that. Hello, Loretta. Debbie's like, Marianne, how do you know someone's an alien? Is this just a Marianne gift or something we normies can tell too? And she's certain Elon Musk is an alien.
Why wouldn't I doubt that? I could think of some other prominent people that I'd like to label with that on that, believe me. But again, the one that I know is half and half was actually a foster child. So I know she is. All right. The other ones that I know is when I hear the high pitched voice. I've never heard, or the high pitched sound. I've never ever heard a noise unless it's over the telephone or I'm in their house and hear it.
Oh, Vicky. I'm a half alien married to a half alien. Could our baby be a whole alien?
Well, let me figure that out. You'd have to go to somebody that knows genetics really good to figure that one out. I don't know. Is that like 2 blue-eyed parents have a brown-eyed kid? How does that work?
And the random purple eye that shows up here and there?
That's right. Or green. Where does that come from? And how did I know to name my kid Amber and she ended up with amber-colored eyes? Go figure. So I don't
know. Amy says, I've noticed a connection between neurodiversity people that are amazing mediums and normally starseeds. You have an opinion on that?
I am not even sure what you're talking about.
Neuro, autism, ADD.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because when you have anybody that's handicapped in your family, it puts so much stress on the family. I mean, the parents of a child like that what don't they try? And that's enough stress to bring in an earthbound spirit. Absolutely. I've said this before, kids that need tubes put in their ears. If I can get to their house first, they never have to have the tubes put in their ears.
I really wish my mom and dad knew you. I had like 3 or 4 sets put in.
And they never stay in anyway.
And I think that's why I have the constant tinnitus.
And I'll bet you. And the other thing is that kids that are on inhalers or those puffing machines, they never have to use them again if there's an earthbound spirit in the house. So yeah, they really affect you.
What are the names of your electronic books so people can go find them? Oh, Marianne.
I will ask Ted though before we get off here. I don't know what they are. You
make this hard to pimp you out.
I wrote them and I have no idea what they. Ted. I'll call him in here. Maybe, of course, he'll probably. Oh, I hope he remembers. I don't know.
It's like I use my phone to text him, but my phone's doing TikTok. So
yeah, and if he's in what are the name of the 2 electronic books on my website? Could you find out and come back and tell me?
Yeah, When Go Speak is one.
When Go Speak?
No, that's electronic.
No, the 2 fiction.
No. The 2 that David and I wrote that one.
Oh, that's the only one. It's look.
Just gotta go look. You do things and who remembers? I don't sit around. It's like people when I do a television spot and it airs 2 weeks later. I never watched that. I was there. Why would I watch it? I just don't look at that stuff. So I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, and Annette, she's like, I just watched What Dreams May Come. That was a really good movie. I think that one should have gotten a lot more attention than what it did as a Robin Williams work. Linda, she's like, do you think if we all write big in the publishers, that they might allow more books in the series?
They're never going to do that until I elevate up to either Stephen King or something like that, where he calls and says, I got a new book, and they say, fine, ship it in. Ever since the last 10 years have been terrible for just normal, everyday public, people. And I think that's why most people self-publish, because of that.
Mm-hmm. Are there any good leprechauns?
Well, I like to say there's good and bad in everything. I guess, ones that don't go in people's houses and do damage and just do their cobbler stuff are probably good ones.
Right.
I
Oh, is he back with the info? I hear the door.
Ghost Worlds.
Ghost Worlds.
Ta-da! Ted brings all the answers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, Valerie. My best friend died unexpectedly at 48. I was devastated. She came to me in a dream and told me she was okay.
Isn't that great when that happens? One of my very good friends died 6 years ago this past Monday. And I don't have very many dreams of her, but for some reason I was thinking about her on Sunday. And Sunday night to Monday, she came in my dream. So it made me feel good. She's doing good. She's having a good time. She says, you should see what I see from this side. So I just didn't want to know. That's where her mind went. So it was like, good for you. You're having a good time. Okay.
Enjoy.
That's right.
City says, yeah, I was planning to visit Florida and Colorado during Christmas. Maybe I can hop on a Zoom call that time since we'll be in the same time zone. So you would be during Florida.
Yeah. Good.
Let's see. So Robin says, I went to a medium last year and they said they couldn't read me and told me to tell me a little bit about me. But if he was a real medium, you'd be able to. Was I wrong in saying so? So mediums talk to those that have crossed over. So if you didn't have anybody kind of crossing over, I'm going to venture to say at least they were being ethical and not trying to BS their way through. And every person vibes differently. Everybody could love Marianne, but there's going to be that one or two people that are like, don't like her.
That's right. And there's more than one or two, believe me.
And the same thing with psychic mediums and psychics, depending on the reader. I can be a hard read. In which case I will kind of stop the session when I'm doing the interview reads and go find one of my good employees who know how to kind of ride that line, like right down the middle, and make sure it's a good read. And then we discuss it, and I'll actually go back in the room with them at the end and kind of go over that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad medium, but to read you, that would be psychic, not mediumship. So maybe there's a misunderstanding of what you were expecting versus what that person could do. So there needs to be more info in that. But if you have a reader of any sort that is constantly asking you questions and trying to pull the info, now they're fishing, and by all means get up and leave. And that's all I have to say about that on my TED Talk today. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Let's see. Oh, it's already like 11. Let's see. Oh, good point. Geezer Gamer says, is the alien high pitched sound audible to you, or is it like psychic? Like, how are you hearing it?
No, I hear it in my ear. I actually hear it. There's two different sounds that I hear depending if you have aliens and or we folk. But I've learned what the difference is when I talk to somebody on the phone. So yeah.
Oh, Karen. Aw. You'll have to send us a picture of your kitty. It says the only ones that can bother me during my Marianne and Melissa time are my two cats. Mars, my red cat, is your number one fan, watches closely and knows your voices.
Aw.
I've been thinking, like, I've got a Discord that I never use, but I was like, maybe I should start a board for the ghost chats and let people submit just pictures and like their kitties. And it's sitting there doing nothing. And Brooks offered to help me because, all the things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yep. Sandy's like, same here for my youngest. He was permanent hearing loss from chronic ear infections.
Yeah. No, it's, and it's not like any, audiologist did this on purpose to your kid. It's what they do to try to help. I mean, again, we're not the brightest people in the galaxy.
Oh, Amy. She's like, I thought you were at the store and what was behind you was your store stock. Nope.
Ooh.
That's all mine. And there's like yet another one that you can't see, another one you can't see. And this is after I downgraded when I moved from the house to the apartment. There were so many books that were hitting. There was one of those little bitty lending libraries in the park. And every few days I'd send Rune down there. I'm like, oh, shove that in there. Go see if that'll fit. And because not only do I buy books because I prefer physical books, especially like some of my fiction and enjoyable things in my research crafting books. When Borders was still a viable company, we would have, especially at the beginning of the holiday season, these meetings where they would ship all of the managers to whoever your big regional location would be. So we would have to go in our area to Pittsburgh, and we'd be there for 3 or 4 days. And all of these publishers would come out and they would bring some of their authors with them and just free e-readers or advanced arcs and other books. And, you're leaving with like tote bags and tote bags of just books given. And they're like, read these, recommend them to your people. And here's what's upcoming. And, so I had so many books, and some of them like I never cracked open. And I'm like, why am I
keeping them?
Yeah. So those got donated. I'm pretty much down to just ones that are mine, like some of my Neil Gaiman. I even have some of the little kids books, like, the wee little ghost and bats in the library, because I'm like, they're just adorable. I like them for me. I don't care that I'm 43. They're mine.
Who cares? Nobody.
Yeah. But these are all mine. Like I said, there's a whole other couple bookcases that are double stacked and double deep. And that's why I'm like, I know I have that. Where is it? I really need to.
Well, and that's it. And nobody puts their books in order like the library. I mean, I've been in people's houses where they put them together by the color of the cover, and not even subject matter. It's like, you got to be kidding me. How can you find anything? I mean, who remembers the color of your book?
You know how many times people will come in? I'm like, I'm looking for the book you had on this table 2 weeks ago. It had a blue cover, and we're like,
yeah, really?
Like, set up that display. Do you? And a lot of us would remember, and especially when I was in Tower City, if somebody came in and they're like, oh, do you have, like the new Clancy book? And I'm like, third aisle over, all the way back, second shelf down, it's facing out. And they're like, how do you know that? And I'm just like, I just know where my stuff is.
It's your job. That's your job. You're supposed to know that.
Yeah. When I took over the one in Sandusky, it was a bigger store. It was a little hard. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be over in here, probably about the fourth one, second shelf down. But by no means are these set up like, and I should, because I've got series split up and all over the place. When I was unpacking, it was just like, what will fit where and where can I get?
And that's pretty much what I did too. I put them in order according to height.
Well, and I see like TikTok videos of people like they'll put them in color, descending color order or height, and some people will change them just by the season.
I went into a house a couple weeks ago.
Oops.
And I noticed the light she had over the table, that one of the house flippers from HTV had just used that in one of their flip houses. And I says, oh, you watch HGTV? That light fixture was on there. She says, yes. She says, I loved it. We went and found it. So I had to walk into her library, and I'm looking at the books. Every book, the title was toward the wall. There was no title showing anywhere.
Mm,
I said, how do you know which book you want to read if you can't
right.
see the title?
It is what it is.
And she said, well, she said, I've read all these and I don't read books twice. She said, but if you really watch HTV, when they stage a house, all the books are backwards when the houses are staged. You never see a title. I said, oh, now I got to watch that. She was right.
I wonder why. Or if they just don't want opinion, you know.
I don't know.
Now, at one point, one of my Borders employees, you know, being funny, in the true crime or the mystery section, they turned a whole shelf backwards. They're like, haha, it's a mystery. And I'm like, that's hilarious. But
Put them back.
yeah. And, you know, in Borders, we all had the earpieces like we were Secret Service. And we had done a reset. Home office, you know, demanded resets because they're insane. They never had to work the floor. They sat in an office up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And religion shifted down closer to fiction. And, you know, somebody was like, hey, anybody know where religion or the Bibles went? And they're like, fiction. Like,
Right.
Shh, guys, be quiet.
Don't say that. Right.
I miss working at Borders. I wouldn't give up what I do now, but I do miss, you know, working in the bookstore and the fun that we had. Oh, that's true, Brooke. Good point. She's like, it could be a legal issue. They don't want to advertise for free.
Well, yeah, I guess. But some of these books look like they were picked up at a garage sale. It doesn't look like they were new books. So what it is, what it is. Who knows?
You know, maybe I'll have to consider not during one of our, you know, unless you would want to do it, Miriam, but like a book sharing, you know, time. I could set up a whole separate conversation and
yeah, let me stay where I'm at right now.
Okay, so
we're good.
Separate.
Yeah, when I get bored, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. We'll set that up. I might have to put some stuff in order first. Find all my things, because I have all of, you know, my witchy and then paranormal mystery and, you know, Solomon high magic stuff, and yeah, I've got the gamut.
See, but I worry when I give away books that I like for people to read, because you put your name in the cover or this book belongs to label and you still never get it back. I swear that's why When Ghosts Speak is so high up on the charts, because people lend it to their friends and they never get it back, so they have to buy another one. Oh, well, okay.
Let's see. Barbara says, I have scribed in the past and I like to get rid of the papers. I feel like I'm being told to keep them. Can I put them in recycling? Do you mean like channel scribing?
I don't know what she's talking about. I would. Why would you keep them? I don't think you would have to keep them unless these are still customers that you did this work for. You might want to keep them, but if it's somebody you haven't had any contact with for a while, I would think no.
Yeah, so channel writing.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would just throw them in the trash or a landfill someplace. Maybe I'd, you know, burn them in the fireplace or put them through at least a shredder.
And do you know anything about getting rid of family curses and how to break them?
Yep.
In fact, you do.
Yep. Get When Ghosts Speak. Go to the library and get it. Don't even buy it. The last chapter will tell you exactly how to do all of that.
Oh, good point, Amy, too. Some of my readers would do this. Like, they'll make notes as they're doing the reading, and then they just give you the paper, because why do they need to hang on to it? It's for you.
Well, that's true.
Okay, well, now that it's like 10 after 11.
Yep.
And we're off the tangent of my bookcases.
Right.
Marianne, you will be at Goddess Elite April 15th from like 1 to 4. So if you need quince seeds, dream bags, sea salt soap, all the things.
Everything will be there.
If you have pictures or videos that you would like to show, you can bring them. Let her have a good look at them. There will be a podcast recording today. So if you are one of our Twitch fans, join us on Twitch and you get to listen and watch, maybe interact a little bit. You'll get to see all the stuff that I'm normally taking out, the goofing off behind the scenes. May 12th is the next Zoom that has openings available. So if you think you might have things going bump in the night at your house and you want to get clarification of what's going on, that's how you join us. It is limited in attendance. We ask that you be mindful and respectful of the other people that have paid to be there. So we don't need whole dissertations. Oh, yay, Bridget says she's already signed up. So go ahead and join us. It starts 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please make sure you adjust for time if you are outside of that time zone. No one under 18, ever. The Zoom will stop and that person will leave your screen before we continue on. Again, be respectful of everybody else who's waiting to ask their questions. What else is there, Mary?
On the 6th of May, I will be at Yoga Studio Illuminate in Concord, Painesville, that area, from 6 to 8 in the morning. It's only limited to 30 people, and I haven't heard from her, so I don't know how many spaces are still available.
Thank you, Melanie. She says, don't forget to like and share, subscribe. Helps if you do it on both our platforms, both YouTubes, because this is streaming on both, Marianne Winkowski and Goddess Elite. And again, if you're on Twitch, join us here in about 15 minutes for podcast recording and random shenanigans. Also on Twitch later tonight, me, Sandy, and Brooke goofing off, card flipping. So that's why I was like, there's a lot of woo-woo on Wednesdays now, because you know what? Who needs a day off?
That's right. It's
Overrated.
definitely overrated. You don't need a day off.
Yeah. So thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure you catch Marianne at one of those locations and have a great day.
We'll see you and have a good Palm Sunday.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.